And Graziano, what do we know?
I think they're being straightforward with this. Like they're saying they're pretty happy with how it's reacted so far to the treatment and the rest. Now he starts to practice, so they see how it reacts to that. And that's basically what he's saying, right? Is he going to be able to do more or the same or less today than he did yesterday? He is acknowledging that it will affect him, right? Like even if it's not about running, it's about pushing off of that foot. So they have to adjust around it. Fortunately for them, they have the whole week. He actually mentioned in his post-game news conference Saturday that, hey, we had the first game Saturday. That gives us a little extra time. Mm-hmm. So that's where they are. He's obviously going to play, barring some terrible setback. And the question is how they have to design a game plan around it.
So let's talk about the defensive game plan. If we think that he will be limited, at least in his mobility, seems impossible to imagine he's going to be running around the way we are accustomed to see him doing. What does that mean the defense does?
They're going to keep him in the pocket, right? They're going to make sure that he doesn't have these escape lanes. They're going to make sure they hold up at the defense line. If you get the quarterback depth, you have to spin back. You don't allow him to have these off-schedule plays. And because they
Is he capable of having them with this ankle? That's what I'm asking you. Does this limit his ability to make those plays?
Well, it's the off-schedule plays. You look at those off-schedule plays right there to Travis Kelce, where they have that nonverbal communication. These are all off-schedule. We played with each other for so long. Find a way to get open. I'm going to understand your nonverbal communication. I'm going to make a play. Listen, this is a bad matchup, even if Patrick Mahomes is 100%. Listen, there's a lot more at stake than just the wins and losses and the right to go to the Super Bowl. I think if Joe Burrow wins this game, you have to pass the baton as the best quarterback in the game. I mean, I beat you 4 times, and I've beaten you when it mattered the most. Not when I caught you slipping, not when it was a long game after a back-to-back or a road stint. I've come into your house and taken what you want. Now, we always talk about rivalries. We talk about the Tom Brady. We talk about the Peyton Manning rivalry, how it went back and forth. This is a one-sided rivalry, and you have to give Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals their due. I think they're the better team, and what they do whenever they go against Cincinnati has the ability to make them have to play defense. No other team can do that. And he exposes that defense a weakness because this team is built on the offensive side of the ball. They put not enough resources on the defensive side.
It's one of the interesting questions. If Joe Burrow beats Mahomes again, right now Patrick Mahomes, it's his league, right? However you want to call it, face of the league. He has sort of taken that mantle from Tom Brady. It was Brady's league. It's Mahomes' league. If Joe Burrow beats him and then wins the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, sort of feels like he becomes the face of the league, doesn't it?
Yeah, if he wins the Super Bowl, that's for sure, because then he would have beaten the top guy and then gone on and played in the Super Bowl and beat another guy that everyone was talking about.
Awful close last year, too.
I think that Cincinnati, I think their defense is going to have 2 game plans.
Okay.
They're going to have a game plan early in this game to test his ankle, to see how he looks on the run, on the move. Hembo gave me a stat in the 12 playoff games. Mahomes has 628 yards outside of the pocket. So that means he averages around 50 yards a game outside of the pocket moving, which as a defender, it's so hard when the quarterback is moving because your pass rush, you can't pin your ears back. You don't know where he's going to be. The coverage, you can't really be on your guy because he's going backyard football. It's like you're in the playground, just like, hey, go here, go there.
That's the one game plan.
And the second game plan would be just to make, he can get out of the pocket. He can move. Now we got to make sure that our rush is smart here because we know Patrick Mahomes, if you're blitzing Mahomes, if you have 5 or 6 guys coming after him, he knows his hot routes. He knows that Kelce's going to break off and be open. So it's almost, do we go after him in the beginning? And if he's okay, we go back to more of a conservative coverage type defense.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.